Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2021 sequel film Ghostbusters Afterlife. So this is the third installment in the original Ghostbusters universe. The 1984 Ghost Attacks of Manhattan was mentioned many a times. Finn Wolfhard and McKenna Grace as brother and sister duo, creating the next gen of Ghostbusters, being the grandchildren of Egon Spellman. Spellman? I can never say his name correctly. Egon's character. Awesome. Very awesome. Of course, this was reboot-esque, but like it's a sequel. Like I've had Slimer on my arm for he's upside down. But I've had him for many years. I love my Slimer. I had horrible feelings towards the 2015 remake, especially with the fact that they had a Slimer puppet, but then they CGI'd him. But Slimer wasn't in Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I was a little upset about that. But it's okay. Muncher was cute. He did his thing. So Egon's daughter and two children are now going to this random farm he has in Oklahoma. And he's known as the dirt farmer. He just is very eccentric. He doesn't grow things. He does his science stuff, but he doesn't talk to it. And he disbanded the Ghostbusters, over the years, and we get some backstory of like why the events of New York happened, why the events of 2021 are happening, how it all goes back to Gozer and Gould and Zool and it's pretty entertaining watching all of this happen, but in a modern take. Paul Rudd is a character in this, Gary. But to get answers, like, I never would have thought, like, why was it that apartment building, that Dana and Lewis's apartment building, was the central force of the evil ghost activity in 1984? Why was Gozer the Gozerian coming back to get the keymaster and the gatekeeper? Why? We got answers. So it turns out that there's this mountain in Oklahoma where it is charged with this spiritual energy, and the rocks that were, mined from there or were used as pillars to actually make this particular apartment complex in New York City. So it translated that's why the New York attack happened, and I was like, look at that magic, but it's science and supernatural stuff. So Finn's trying to adapt to, being a 15-year-old, pretending to be a 17-year-old, trying to date the girl that he's working with at this particular roller skating diner. McKenna's character is science-based. She's nerdy, quote-unquote, and like she makes this friend podcast, and they're going off on whirlwind adventures. Not really, but they're trying to figure out what's going on with the farm. Why is the ghost activity starting up again? Who is she actually in relation? All these different things. This is a finding yourself story. So to then have Dan Aykroyd's character come back, to have Bill Murray's character come back, to have Annie Potts back very briefly. Dana White is Sigourney Weaver at the very end, and Ernie Hudson, well, the guy who plays Ernie, is back at the end, all fighting Gozer the Gozerian at the farm. So it turns out the farm was just built as a giant ghost trap because Egon knew that there would be a countdown, and he knew that the end of the world was coming, and it would start at this mountain in Oklahoma. And then in this mountain, in these carvings, there is this Gozer statue, and there's the countdown of the different days. You had different dates. You had the 1984 case. You then had the 2021. The stuff that happened in the second Ghostbusters wasn't associated with the Gozer ghost activity, the ghost apocalypse activity. So that's why that wasn't referenced within that countdown clock. So it's cool watching all of our old Ghostbusters team reunite to defeat Gozer, to have our new Ghostbusters team come together to defeat Gozer, to have the Ecto-1 being battered and bruised, and to have the gunner rig and the little trap door for the remote control trap. I thought that was so cool, throwing all these new tech things to it, but having it explained in a science-based because of Mackenzie's character. McKenna. God, I can't remember people's names. McKenna Grace, there we go. So this was fun. This was really good. It didn't get as much credit as it as it should have. Because it completed a story. Of course, it leaves a door open, especially with the post credit of going back to the firehouse and the lights flickering again. But will there be another one? Probably. I'm perfectly fine with the new Ghostbusters crew joining up and going to save New York again for whatever reason. My only issues were it was slow at times. It was a 2-hour movie. It could have been an hour and a half, and it could have been perfect, but it dragged. Certain points dragged. Like, we were getting to the emotional points. Why did Egon abandon his family? Why this? Why that? Right? So then when we get to the answers, like, the second half, like, picks up and, like, we get some stuff going and it's pretty cool. But, like, the first half was just slow build-up. It wasn't, like, fast build-up. It could have been fast build-up. That's perfectly fine. I still appreciate the film for what it was. I thought it was a beautiful ending to a original Ghostbusters universe trilogy. We can assume that the ghost spirit world where Gozer's a part of is then attached on a different plane in a different multiverse of the remake that we got, which I can't stand. As a canonical Ghostbusters story, I can't stand it. As its own singular Ghostbusters multiverse film, fine. It's fine. But when they tried to rechange the canon, that killed me. It killed my soul. We talked about that. And a lot of us had problems with that. But now that it's been changed it's its own universe, totally fine with that. You have your own universe. That's great. Fantastic. I'm assuming the spirit world is connecting both of those universes together. Totally fine. Ghostbusters Afterlife. I am actually shocked. They did a giant Lego, like, Ecto, which I thought was cool for Finn, because he drove the Ecto through most of the film. But Lego sent him an Ecto, and he, like, built it and, like, was so proud of himself for, like, building it and just showed it everybody on Instagram. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm shocked, though, that there wasn't, like, a set of the Ecto with the figures, like, with the characters, like, from the film. Like there was in the 2015 Ghostbusters film. There was a set of the Ecto with the minifigures. There wasn't a set of the Ecto with the minifigures for this film, which I don't understand. It was just the giant Ecto. We had the firehouse with the original Ghostbusters crew and Ecto many, many years ago. I never got that set. I still regret never getting that set. I really want that set. I don't know where the hell it's going, but I still really want that set. Yeah, I just think it's interesting that they didn't release a set for Ghostbusters Afterlife with the kid minifigures, with the broken down Ecto, with the, the gunner chair and the remote control car underneath. I thought that'd be pretty cool, but it didn't happen. So, c'est la vie. A boy can dream, can't he? Yeah. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.